Imagine 5 healthy young men driving home after a basketball game. Suddenly, they take a wrong turn into a dark, freezing forest. Months later, their car is found completely functional with plenty of gas, but the men are gone. When investigators finally find them, the scene is pure horror. One of them starved to death inside a cabin packed with enough food to last for years. This is the disturbing true mystery of the Yuba County Five. In February 1978, 5 close friends from California, Ted, Jack, Bill, Sterling, and Wendy, all mild intellectual disabilities, but highly functional, drove to a nearby city to watch a basketball game. They won a trophy, celebrated, and bought snacks at a local gas station at 10 p.m. They were supposed to drive straight home for a big tournament the next morning. Instead, they drove 50 miles in the opposite direction, straight into a frozen nightmare. Days later, the police found their car abandoned on a remote, snow-covered mountain road. The car was not stuck. It had a quarter tank of gas, and the keys were missing. Investigators were completely baffled. Why would 5 men abandon a warm, working vehicle in a brutal snowstorm while wearing only light jackets? There were no signs of violence, but the heavy snow completely erased any footprints, leaving detectives blind. As the weather cleared in June, a group of hikers made a gruesome discovery 19 miles away from the car. They found a remote Forest Service cabin with a broken window. Inside, lying on a bed under thick blankets, was the frozen body of Ted Wyer. He had lost over 100 pounds and died of starvation. But the horror intensified when police examined the cabin's supplies. The situation made absolutely no logical sense. Inside the cabin's outer shed, there was a massive storage locker filled with enough military C rations to feed all 5 men for an entire year. Ted had only opened a few cans, leaving the rest untouched. There was also a propane tank designed to provide heat and light, but no one had turned it on. Ted had spent his final days freezing and starving to death in the dark, surrounded by the very resources that could have saved his life. Soon, the remains of the other men were discovered nearby. The bodies of Sterling and Bill were found in the woods, deeply decomposed and partially scavenged by wild animals. Jack's bones were located near a stream. Only Wendy was never found, leaving behind only his shoes inside the cabin. Forensic doctors confirmed they all died of hypothermia and exposure, but the mysterious circumstances surrounding their deaths completely terrified the nation. The biggest question was how they reached the cabin. To get there from their car, these 5 men had to walk 19 miles through waist-deep snow in total darkness. 2 of the men had severe foot injuries that made walking short distances painful, yet they somehow kept moving through the brutal mountain terrain. Why did they push themselves so hard into the wilderness? Were they running from something terrifying? A witness named Joseph Shons came forward with a chilling story. That night, his car got stuck in the snow near the boys' vehicle. While lying inside with a medical emergency, he heard strange voices and saw car headlights. He shouted for help, but the lights instantly turned off and the voices stopped. He later saw a group of people walking past his car in the dark, completely ignoring his desperate cries for help, as if they were in a trance. One compelling theory suggests that the men simply became disoriented in the dark and panic took over. Because of their intellectual struggles, once they arrived at the cabin, they might have viewed it as private property they weren't allowed to touch explaining why Ted didn't use the heater or eat the food. But this theory fails to explain why they drove up the mountain in the first place, or who turned off the lights when Joseph shouted. Nearly 5 decades later, the Yuba County 5 case remains a haunting riddle. The forest has kept its secrets, leaving families with broken hearts and detectives with endless questions. Did a mysterious figure lure them into the freezing mountains, or did a tragic chain of confusion lead them to their deaths? What is your theory about this chilling night? Share your thoughts in the comments below.